Hey guys, welcome back. Tonight I'm going to go over a couple tying tips when using lead or lead-free wire. So first, let me just show you the problems that I had when I was wrapping wire in the past. So I've got a size 14 hook in the vise right now with .015 wire wrapped around it and a 3mm slotted tungsten bead. Now this is a kind of standard setup that I'll use when I'm tying a nymph. So what I will do is I'll take my thread and I'll start right behind the lead and I'll wrap it back, pop my thread off, and then what I want to do is build a little thread dam here. So I'll start doing this, but as you can see my thread has split into the lead, and I can bring it back because I want to build this up, but I start bringing the lead around, it starts getting kind of messed up. I want to bring my thread back, and now the lead's on there and it would probably work, but as you can see that's not a very smooth underbody, and I can bring my thread back up and back down to try to cover it up. The reality is that would work fine, but that's just not as clean as I would like to see it when I start building my body. So if you'll give me a second, I'm going to take the thread off and take this lead off and show you how I wrap the lead now. Alright, now that we've got our hook shank cleaned off and I've got my glasses on so I can see, let's get to wrapping a little wire. So here's my spool of 015 wire. Now as you can see, when I hold it out like this, the wire doesn't unspool or anything, so it's completely fine to have this out. So I hold the spool and I have roughly about 2 inches or so coming off the spool. Now I want to grab just enough, between a quarter inch and half an inch, but just enough wire that I can grip it firmly without using my fingernails to hold on to it. If I use my fingernails to hold on to it, then that's usually where it's going to break off. So I just want to use my fingers and hold it like this. So now we're going to transfer over to the hook shank. Okay, the key thing when we're wrapping this is for years I would take the spool of wire and I would wrap it in the same direction that I wrap my thread. Now I take where I pinched it before, I take my wire and I wrap in the opposite direction. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. If you notice when I'm wrapping, I bring the thread up, or the wire up, and I kind of angle it back a little bit to make sure that those wraps butt up nice and tight to each other. So was that 4, 5, 6. And when I go to break it off, I pull the wire back down, but when I start helicoptering, I want that angle to be I want the bend to be at the hook shank itself. So as you can see, right here, the wire broke off right at the hook shank, and now I've got my spool and it's ready to go for the next fly. So we'll put our spool down. Now I'll take my fingernail and I'll push and we will make sure our bead is seated correctly. Just not right now, there we go. So I'll push the wire up with my fingernail and make sure everything's good. Now my only waste is this, and I have a little bit longer piece than I normally do. But this is my only waste piece, so I just hold it with my fingernail, or you can grip it, but I want you all to be able to see it. So I'm holding it with my fingernail, and I do the same thing. Make sure that that's bending at the hook shank. As you can see, that bent right off. Now, because where I just broke it off, the wire is going away from me, when I go to wrap my thread, and I do the same thing I was just doing, and I pop this off, and I bring this up, my thread is not going to hit that broken end. So I can butt it up against that broken end, and it just kind of bounces off, and I can build a nice little taper to my thread here. Bring it down a little bit more. I'll bring it up, and now my thread just pops right over, and I probably should flatten out my thread here, but you can see my thread popped right over. Now I've got a nice smooth underbody ready to go to tie my next material. So this is nice because there's not much waste with the thread wraps, with the wire wraps, and you have a nice smooth underbody. So I hope that tip helps you out. Hope you can use it in your future tying. And if you guys get a chance, check out our weekly show. We're live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Whip Finish Wednesday. Log on, hop on, and we look forward to seeing you then. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.